It is starting. The Trump administration said earlier this week they are stripping citizenship from 17 people who were naturalized. They were born outside the United States and they obtained citizenship once here. People like me, that I was born in Argentina. I obtained citizenship in this country. Is Trump coming for people like me next, as we have suspected? I'll get back to that. The case we're dealing with here is 17 people born in Cuba, Haiti, Somalia, China, India, a couple other countries. They have been convicted of crimes. In some cases, it was healthcare fraud. In others, it was wire fraud, conspiracy to manipulate stock prices, but something Trump has done himself, by the way. Why denaturalization, you might ask, instead of simply prosecute them for the crimes? This is the reason. The DOJ says that these people covered up their involvement in those crimes during the process of obtaining citizenship. Now, as I've said before, denaturalization, stripping people of citizenship, is very rare. You need to go through a federal court process. It can only be done to people who were naturalized. If you have birthright citizenship from the time you were born, this process cannot apply to you, except the Trump administration is also going after birthright citizenship. Trump signed an executive order that says if you were born in the United States to undocumented parents, he wants your citizenship stripped. Now, I think we on the left should be honest about these two different scenarios. When it comes to birthright citizenship, Trump likes to say the U.S. is the only country with birthright citizenship. That's not true. But there are some countries that do not confer citizenship just because you were born in the country during a vacation to parents who aren't citizens or to undocumented parents or whatever else. It's true. Some countries allow that. Some people don't. But that is the law right now. You do get citizenship in that scenario. If they want to change that, they've got to change the law. And that is a debate that can be had. Maybe they would win that debate. Maybe they wouldn't. In order to get rid of birthright citizenship in the United States, you've got to pass a constitutional amendment and repeal the 14th Amendment. You'd need 2/3 of both the House and Senate and 3/4 of the states to ratify it. Or you would need 2/3 of state legislatures to call for a constitutional convention. And any resulting amendment would then be ratified by 3/4 of the states. That's the process if you want to do that. It's unlikely, but they could argue for it. But the law right now is that we have birthright citizenship. You can't take it from people. Now, as we spoke about with Sarah Isgur a few weeks ago, the Trump administration wants to argue that if you're in the United States unlawfully, you are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. It's a technical argument. And therefore, if you're born to an undocumented immigrant, because the undocumented immigrant is not subject to the jurisdiction of the country, you don't get citizenship. That's the way the argument goes. And they like to go, the framers of the 14th Amendment did not intend to grant citizenship to everyone born on U.S. soil. Subject to the jurisdiction means you have political allegiance to the United States. If you're here illegally, you are loyal to a different country. Therefore, it doesn't count. Children should not automatically get citizenship. The problem with that argument is that people present in the United States, you might be a citizen, you might be a tourist, you might be a permanent resident, you might be an undocumented immigrant. You are subject to American law. If you're here illegally and you commit a crime, you can be arrested. If you're here illegally and you take an action that hurts someone financially, you could be sued. You could be prosecuted. You've got to follow traffic laws, federal, state, local laws. You are unquestionably under the jurisdiction of the United States when you're here illegally. And this is why a lot of people do not believe that Trump's challenge to birthright citizenship is going to succeed. I don't believe it's going to succeed. Now, back to the denaturalization. These 17 cases, is it likely that the administration will prevail in denaturalizing at least some of those people? If they indeed have been convicted of committing the crimes that the administration claims, they will probably be successful in denaturalizing at least some of them, because that is the law. You can be denaturalized if it turns out you did lie or occult the commission of these crimes in your application for citizenship. That could happen. Do I think Trump is coming for my citizenship? Listen, on the one hand, I doubt it. I did not make any statements in order to be naturalized because I was under 18. My parents became citizens. I was just able to go get a passport and become an American citizen. I didn't need to be naturalized. I didn't need to be make claims rather to be naturalized. So I couldn't possibly have lied about the circumstances of my naturalization because I didn't make any claims with my naturalization. On the other hand, as we know, sometimes just making someone go through a process is how you punish them, even if the process will ultimately fail. They put me on a list of media offenders on whitehouse.gov, terrifying. And if they were to sue me for defamation for something I say on the show, I'd probably prevail, but it could be very expensive to get there. And similarly, while I do not believe for a second that my citizenship will ever be taken from me, I think that just by messing with me and saying they're going to try to do it and making me lawyer up, they could make me have a pretty miserable few months or even longer. So I don't expect to lose my citizenship, but will they try to go after critical folks who were naturalized? I wouldn't put it past them. Thanks for watching. Check out another one of our videos and make sure to subscribe so YouTube keeps our content in your feed. And if you prefer audio, subscribe to the podcast on Spotify or Apple.